Hey there, folks. Welcome to Spectrum Pulse. We talk about music, movies, art, and culture, and it's the last episode of 2022. Yeah, the last bit of catch-up. It's been long overdue, and frankly, I've got a headlong rush into the best songs and best albums of this year. You might encounter some of both the former and the latter will show up on those lists. We'll have to see. But look, let's have no more wasting time. Let's get on the pulse. But before we go any further, if you would like to like and subscribe, I'd be extremely grateful. We've seen a nice little bit of a subscriber boost the past couple of days thanks to the big year-end list, the best hits and the worst hits of 2022. Haven't gone and seen those yet, I can't imagine why. Please go check those out, they're pretty kick-ass. Also, share this video around. It's likely going to get lost in the shuffle. I'd prefer that not happen. But now onto the docket at hand. We got 6 projects here. Let's start off with, from Arlo McKinley, This Mess We're In. I'm kicking myself that I didn't get to Arlo McKinley in 2020. His breakthrough that year was legit fantastic. Could have easily made my year-end list for a lot of textured, emotive, singer-songwriter indie country, and I just missed it. But now we are here for the follow-up, and it's still legit great, but isn't quite as strong. Now, some of this is the production going for a more weather-beaten, bluesy live tone, which texturally can be a bit overplayed, and McKinley's haggard but spare on details writing style and extended track lengths. It makes the album feel longer and not quite as distinctive thematically in a lot of stories of love and loss as it should be. But you know what? When he knows his way around a killer southern rock hook with phenomenally well-balanced production like this, it's an incredibly comfortable and very likable album. At least I'm not as late as I was last time. Y'all go check this out. From Smino, Love for Rent. I've wanted to talk about Smino for a while. His involvement in the Chicago scene, his off-kilter flows and production, dabbling in an alternative R&B, funk, and soul. His material doesn't always click for me, but there's enough winding flair to have me intrigued about his first proper album in 4 years. And I'll admit I've kind of struggled with this one. On the one hand, the loose, playful, and horny psychedelia is genuinely fun, with some deceptively clever punchlines. It's a colorful, vibrant, frequently lovesick listen. But putting aside how it can feel a little lightweight on content, the shadow of his influences, along with some iffy bass mixing and some high-pitched sampling, it can make a freewheeling album have some snags in momentum. And I kept feeling that the underlying compositions here should hit harder than they do. I mean, it's certainly damn good. I would just personally struggle to call it as great or as sticky as I would like. At least for me. From ilkmoney, I don't give a fuck about this rap shit. I'ma just drop until I don't feel like it anymore. Okay, put the abstract paranoia of Billy Woods, the radical provocation of JPEG Mafia, and the smoked out hedonism of Flatbush Zombies into the gruff fast flows and weirdness of Busta Rhymes, and you might have ilkmoney, which leads to a dense, kaleidoscopic, frequently flagrant and funny, but often insightful nightmare of a listen, full of venomous takedowns of white power structures that will devour black lives and neuter black art. Now, I'm not always sure that the blur of samples and fractured production is quite as weird or as potent as his content, and there are some transgressive dead ends where self-awareness of his own bad habits isn't quite the extent he seems to think it is. But when this album burns into some potent emotional moments, ilkmoney will strike gold. Don't just know this guy for TikTok virality. ilkmoney drops some casual but mind-bending greatness. Check it out. From Glorilla, anyways, life's great. So I've been less than impressed by Glorilla as a rapper and her breakout hits this year. I get her lane, and attitude and hooks can go a long way, but I was kind of dubious about this EP. And well, okay, the husky drawl and swagger gives Glorilla some personality, even if her flow is clunkier than a lot of her peers, but it does work opposite the brittle percussion and spare keys that recall a lot of 3-6 Mafia and Yo Gotti. And she actually shows a bit more emotive complexity between the lines, referencing getting an abortion, a clash between elevating her friends and community and then getting used by folks in her circle. It adds some relatable weight as an up-and-coming street girl. But I will say she is riding more on gangsta posturing than wordplay for the more traditional bad bitch material that's honestly pretty derivative, and the mixing is really inconsistent song to song. So, okay, I'm not wowed by this, but there is some potential. It's not bad either. From Little Simz, no thank you. So I had mixed emotions going into this. I didn't love Sometimes I Might Be Introvert like everyone else, but Little Simz is an excellent rapper. This could work. And yet, why does it feel like muted B-sides of the last album with less energy and more bitterness? Now again, not bad. It fits a lot of jaded industry disillusionment and a lonely hustle, losing friends amidst mental health struggles and generational trauma. And some of the minimal bass grooves, they do set a vibe, but juxtaposing relentless flows with a lot of grand strings and gospel vocals, it feels a bit too clean, prim, and respectable to really drive a lot of promises of revolution, except with some really out-of-place rough mixing choices. And these are issues I also have with producer Inflow's project Salt, or even on Stormzy's last album. It also doesn't help that in keeping the bangers in the vault, this is less catchy, and some of the pop attempts just do not work. But you know, a high floor that's uniformly solid, it does keep this in quality. It's good, worth hearing. From Ab-Soul, Herbert. It's been 6 years since Do What Thou Wilt, and while the buzz was suggesting this new Ab-Soul album was more personal and grounded, he's always thrown curveballs, and I know how sky-high his potential is. And yet with this album, okay, I'm not against the production sliding towards more old-school, sample-backed boom-bap and some brittle trap, and Ab-Soul is as clever as ever in stringing together all the punchlines, and boy, does he want you to know that. It's very battle rap in that execution, but mine is some deeper conceptual exploration or more traditional production over an extended runtime. You can't really ignore some of the cornier punchlines, or the Russ guest verse, or how Ab-Soul kinda struggles to deliver more unique punch to his storytelling. Outside of Gotta Rap, the closer, I can argue that Big Sean and Jhené Aiko kind of eclipse the entire album, even if I do appreciate some of the haunted moments of Survivor's Guilt. I don't know, it's got potent cuts, but after 6 years, kind of expected a bit more. Alright, that ties it all up. If you'd like to like and subscribe, again, I would be extremely grateful. Please, again, share this video around. We're talking about a couple of the last albums of this year that will probably wind up going overlooked. Let's make sure that does not happen. Beyond that, though, if there's anything else I might be able to do to improve my presentation, I'm all ears. Please stick around if you want to see the best songs and best albums of 2022. Those lists will be dropping either in the next couple of days in late 2022 or very early 2023. Again, they're long lists. It's just going to take me time to see how quickly I can script them and get them out. But beyond that, if you guys want to help support the channel beyond my merch, link down in the description below, or hell, you want to find ways to argue with me on Discord, or maybe even perhaps get albums onto my schedule for 2023, link to my Patreon is right over there. Don't feel obligated, tough times, I understand, but the option is available. Till then, I'm Mark, you're watching On the Pulse on Spectrum Pulse, and I'll see you next time.